If somebody has to choose between stress management and pleasure, what would they choose? And the answer to that to me is like pleasure actually is one of the best
Yeah.
things for stress management. It,
Yes.
you know,
I'm like, yeah.
we see it in research. Like this is nothing new. This is like
Mm.
very, it lowers stress hormones. It helps you sleep better, raises serotonin, your happy hormone. Like it's one of these things where I feel like pleasure has been thought for so long as like this hedonistic kind of like, well, like
Yeah.
selfish, like it's bad if you like prioritize that. It is interesting to me, like with all of there's so much movement in medicine right now to longevity and like biohacking
Mhm.
your body. And all of that is like great, like let's look at that. And in my mind, one of the biggest things, like we're like trying all these fancy devices and not saying there's not a place for those, but the body has this amazing chemical cocktail that is self-regulating if we allow ourselves the time to do it.
Yes. I feel
Yeah.
like there's so much healing through or the ability to heal through pleasure and restoring that. And maybe like I kind of have like a conspiracy theory, or maybe it's not a conspiracy theory around like the
I love
disconnection
conspiracy theories.
between, yeah,
I think
between
they're
like,
so fun.
like between why or the introduction that if you keep people disconnected from their pleasure or their ability to self heal or in a capacity, or maybe even in a fear state, they're easier to control
Yeah.
and or like want to buy into all the which gadgets are fun. I love them.
Yeah.
But
And
buy
that's, I
into
do.
all the things and, outsource a lot of their power.
Yeah, I completely agree with that as a huge possibility. Like I think
Yeah.
there's a really downplay of like our pleasure center. If we look at truly from an energetic standpoint, and again, I do have a background in Chinese medicine, so if I like you look at
Mhm.
where the pleasure centers are, they're also the centers energetically from like an acupuncture standpoint of creativity, of our power in life, not just our power in sex. And it's like deeply energetically related.
Mhm.
And so, it's one of these things where I do think when people are tapped into their pleasure, it's like I feel like the scene in TV, right, is like the stressed out woman all of a sudden is coming to work and she's flipping her hair back and like she's floating on top of the world and that's a little melodramatic from a standpoint of sometimes I think it takes her out of her own power and say like, hey, this has to happen in this way. However, I do think there's something very real about that around like there's this change that can really happen physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And
Mhm. I'm Kristen Birdwell, and this is Sex, Drugs, and Soul.